Okay, so just seen the video on the David Benavidez YouTube channel of his sparring in preparation for his fight against Anthony Yarde. Now, one of his coaches even said in the video that David Benavidez is sending sparring partners home early, which, wow, was that's quite the achievement, right? Like you're getting dudes in here like to spar, and you're getting them out of there early. Like they're not even able to last the distance with you, bro. Like David Benavidez is different gravy, right? And you can see even in the sparring, like the speed that he's putting his hands together, the speed and the power, mixing up to the head, to the body. Like it's just tough work for these guys, right? These sparring partners for him. Like they've really got no chance against David Benavidez. And ultimately, I think Anthony Yarde's got very little chance against David Benavidez. In terms of Anthony Yarde's previous opponents, you look at them and you see, for the most part, the guys who he's beaten haven't been very good. And the guys who he's lost to, in terms of Lyndon Arthur, okay, he avenged the Lyndon Arthur loss twice, so you can kind of write that off a bit. But losses to Kovalev and Beterbiev. Now, the Kovalev fight was an interesting one because Kovalev was doing a good job at wearing out Anthony Yarde and taking his shots and eating his shots for the most part. He did get rocked. Anthony Yarde then made a judgment call and emptied out the tank on Kovalev, wasn't able to get him out of there, and then was just exhausted for the rest of the fight, and Kovalev was able to stop him. In that case, you're like, or if he managed it differently, maybe he could have beaten a Kovalev at that point. Maybe, right? Maybe. But that wasn't the case, and he lost the fight. Then he fights Beterbiev. Now, that was always going to be a super tough fight for Anthony Yarde, because Beterbiev is so good. He's so strong and he's so powerful. And he, again, did stop Anthony Yarde late in that fight. But Anthony Yarde always shows fight in his fight, right? It shows heart. Wasn't able to get the job done against either of those guys. And partially, yes, stylistically. Partially, yes, because of the physical. And, he just got tired and they were still there. David Benavidez presents all those same issues, right? He's not as big of a puncher as Beterbiev, no. But in terms of speed and power, he's a seriously dangerous opponent for everyone at 175, right? But David Benavidez, he is and he isn't. I mean, he's not the perfect fighter. No fighter is. And we saw even in fights like the Demetrius Andrade fight, early on in the fight, David Benavidez is not there for the taking, but you can land on him. You can get to him. And maybe you won't hurt him. Maybe you won't rock him, but you've got a chance at winning those rounds. And Andrade was able to pick up rounds early. David Morrell was able to pick up rounds early. But by the end of the fight, David Benavidez is just so physical, so big, so quick, so powerful. By the end of the fight, it's a tough night, right? And of course, he's undefeated, and he ended up beating all those guys. Morrell started the fight well. Andrade started the fight well. Both of those guys met the same ending, and they both lost to David Benavidez, right? Anthony Yarde's advantage is he's bigger than those guys. Anthony Yarde's a big dude, right? And the physicality advantages that David Benavidez has in fights, he probably won't have over Anthony Yarde, particularly early on. That being said, Anthony Yarde has been known to gas on the back end of these big fights, right? In which time, if Anthony Yarde's gassed, then he's got no physical advantages at all. He'll probably give up ground, try and use his head movement, try to stay out of trouble. But when you're using head movement against a guy like David Benavidez who throws more than 3 punches at a time, it could get, you can't slip 6, 7 punches. You can't slip all of them, right? I mean, you just can't. So, obviously, if you've seen my previous videos, you know I'm going with a David Benavidez win. But he's picking up momentum, and it looks like he's dropping that weight, and the hands are getting quick again, and he's, staying sort of nimble and being able to move about the ring in these sparring sessions. But he's getting these dudes out of there early, right? A lot of these guys are just grateful for the rounds typically, but he's getting guys out of there early, and he's doing his job. So, yeah, I'd be curious to know what you guys think of the David Benavidez sparring if you've seen the videos. If not, I'd be curious to know what you guys think of the upcoming fight, David Benavidez v Anthony Yarde. Let me know in the comments below, and I'm out. Peace.